Welcome everyone back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is DFree. Here today, I have highlighted a number of different units, and I'm not going to really go through which one needs it more than others. I might bring that up at points, but I have highlighted a number of units that I wanted to kind of talk about what they would need in order to be viable again in the game. Not that, well, viable isn't the right word, but to be amazing again, I guess, because some of them have fallen on hard times with the way that the game has introduced harder content, ranging from Dokkan Battlefield over to Super Battle Road and or Category Super Battle Road as well, the new legendary Goku boss fight, and anything else to come in the future. So some of them have fallen on a bit of hard time. Other than that, maybe they have been crept by older versions of themselves, like I don't know, like some of them are still really good, it doesn't really matter, but just an example, like AGL Super Vegito versus Physical, or like an older version of a card like Tech SS3 Gotenks getting a EZA, right, in relation to Physical, who's still really good, but regardless. So just a lot of different scenarios like that. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you enjoy these types of discussion videos, let me know in the comments down below some things you want me to talk about or discuss as far as that's concerned. So anyways, so here we have, courtesy of the Dokkan Wiki, we have every single card in the game that does actually have access to the Fierce Battle link. This was important because it allowed for me to pinpoint a lot of the Dokkan Festival exclusive units. So as you see here, there's a ton of Dokkan Fest units and alike in here. So we're going to specifically be talking about Dokkan Festival units that would like an EZA, right? So in no particular order. Well, I guess he probably wants it the most. I don't even know what's in what order anymore. I just kind of opened them up. I guess he probably wants it the most. It's so interesting when you see this card and the way that this card was handled. Upon release, right? Upon release with him and the Vegito. Now, the thing about that scenario was we were walking into a new quote-unquote meta. These guys do come out. Vegito didn't get any sort of attack increase or anything crazy like that. But you can tell they were very, very cognizant of the fact that Broly could wind up being very good. So here we have a Broly who gets 7,000 attack with an additional super attack guaranteed when he has 8 or more ki. He also does supreme damage. Now, at this time, Immense was very common as far as Dokkan Fest units were going. Now, they purposely gave him Supreme because of the double super, right? And at the time, flat attack increases were still good. This is a time where like STR Gogeta and then this Broly and Super Vegeta, or Super Vegito, excuse me, were like considered to be like the god cards of this game. I remember memes of like Gogeta being Slifer, this one being Raw, and then the other one being Vegito being like Obelisk, right? So that's how things were. And at this time, this was perfectly fine, right? So at the time, he was good, but it did not age well whatsoever. And again, they really just tried to handle this card differently at the time to try to quote-unquote balance it. It's funny because sometimes they really do inflict strong balancing on cards, right? And he just didn't age well, so he needs it big time. If you want to see an example for him, I believe me and Hydros gave him Immense and 80% attack and defense, and he keeps the guaranteed super, and that's it. And he's really good. Really good. So check it out. Link will be down below for our What If EZA. But he needs it big time, probably the most out of all Dokkan Fest units because he has aged horrendously badly. We move on, and this one here kind of extends to every 120, right? Every 120% mono-type leader, all the characters that came out right before the categories and stuff like that. Obviously, they're still good characters. I already mentioned how Gotenks is still good. Obviously, they're still viable. Obviously, they still have solid leader skills. Just stuff like that. Like, I use these characters as my main leaders in Battlefield. I just use mono teams. Screw categories. It's too much work. And I don't have any trouble. So they're good, right? They're still really good. 120% effective against all types. Attack and defense, that's good. But one thing that's happened, as I talked about earlier, is the game has transitioned into putting a lot more focus on having characters that actually have defense. The issue with these characters, the 120s in general, is a lot of them, not every one of them, but a number of them, like this one comes to mind, obviously, because he's here. Tech SS3 Goku, Angel comes to mind as well. You know, a lot of them were just kind of quote-unquote glass cannons. Now, this one specifically had an added viability because he attacked down, albeit in a lot of content now, that's being kind of canceled out, negated. You can't even use it, right? But in some of it, you still can, so it's still viable. A lot of them were like glass cannon type units. So in my opinion, with the way the game has transitioned forward, a character like SS4 Vegeta has been who was amazing at the time, right, is just better now because of the access to the teams and the fact that he still has both stats always being pumped out at a high rate, right? So Gogeta here is going to be one of your better offensive units for this color, for this typing among the 120s and everything, but I would like for him to pick up an EZA that just allows for defense. He doesn't need anything crazy. We saw that rework happen with STR Gogeta, where he picked up, I believe, 77% attack and defense, and then got a bonus attack increase. I don't really care about bonus attack increases. I just think that this unit needs defense, right? The int one just needs defense, right? If it's just a 120 attack, effective against all types, 80% defense, and then like you can give him like an orb changing mechanic or like a bonus 2% per orb obtained if there's a specific enemy, like whatever it is, like a movie boss's enemy, it doesn't matter. But I just think he needs that, and that would make him top tier again, basically, because effective against all types is still busted in this game. It's one of the best things a character can have. And again, this extends to all the 120s that are, because I'm not going to have a slide for each one, that are glass cannon type units. Gotenks, it's dumb that he reduces his defense. It's not good. But it's only for turn restriction. But he trades it in favor for more offense. The problem at that time was when the SS4s came out and introduced this meta, it was such a huge shift towards one-shotting events, and you still do it. Dokkan events, I don't really consider Dokkan events in this because they're easily beaten, and they're meant to be easy to beat. So yeah, so they transitioned the game into more offense. Now they've been trying to like circle back to more defense. We don't need you. I already talked about you. We're gonna come over here. Now this isn't a festival exclusive, but I wanted to give him a shout out here because he did come out on a festival banner. You guys will pull him every so often. Really, 50,000 attack and 20,000 defense is not quote-unquote bad. The issue with this is just that, for one, the two enemies or less thing isn't great. I wonder if I can pull up a flat increase. Where's LR Broly? He's like the best example for a flat increase. I can pull him up right here because he'll have he'll have Fierce Battle. That's fine. So we'll pull up LR Broly as an example of a good flat increase, but 50,000 attack and 20,000 defense, immense damage, lowers attack and defense. This is all great. 3 key, 50%. Like if he EZA, this probably jumps to 70. He probably, I would say, greatly lowers attack and defense. That'd be amazing, actually. That'd be amazing. Then you don't even need to change this too much. But 70,000 and then like 30,000 just at the start of the turn, and then maybe give him an added like key +3 at the start of the turn or something like that, and he's good, man. 70 and 30 is such a good overall number, especially when he has basically 15,000 attack already at the start of the turn. He has access to great categories like Goku's family and some of these other ones here. I think that'd be perfect. The thing about flat boosts, though, is a lot of people will just prefer if they go ahead and port them over to being percentage-based ones. They're not bad if the boost is high enough, right? So we look at Broly, who's actually kind of falling a little bit on hard times, but his damage is still pretty good because 80,000, right? He's still your MVP for like the World Tournament, but just 80,000 attack increase is absolutely nuts, right? So if this Goku, or not Goku, excuse me, Bardock gets anywhere near this, he'll be really, really good. So flat boosts at a higher rate like that are insanely good. They are really good. So I really don't know if they'll do 70,000, maybe 60, maybe 60 and 30. Maybe 60 and 40. I don't know. I just have to see the calculations. But honorable mention basically for him. We come ahead and we take a look at AGL Super Vegito. Now, this unit's only issue really is that he doesn't have any output. So he has no damage output, which is why when the physical variation came out, they, again, tried to balance it, and they applied an attack increase. So with each attack received, he gets a 10% attack. So he has to take 10 hits to get a 100% attack increase. But 100% attack increase, SA modifier increase 30%, like all that stuff in conjunction with counters really makes quite a powerful unit, right? It makes quite a powerful unit because the counters will do so much damage, right? Especially if they crit. Oh my goodness, they're going to do so much damage, which is why for him, they actually reduced his mitigation from 80 on the AGL one to 50 on the physical one. So when it comes to this one, you have to really tread lightly when it comes to counter units, right? Because if you want to see my physical Super Vegito, Vegito Blue one, even then, I tried so hard to make him not too OP. I might be doing a V2 for that, but I tried not to make him so OP, and he still wound up doing such insane stuff because the attack increases and the counters and the additional supers. That's an extreme case, but like with this guy, if they were to give him, for one, I hate that these cards don't have flat defense. The reason why is because they only counter normal attacks. That's the issue. Normal attacks are fine, but if they get hit with the super, they get shredded to oblivion, right? So if they give him 40% defense at the start of the turn to at least make it to where he can take some respectable damage versus a super attack potentially, 80% mitigation is so high that normal attacks aren't going to do any damage anyway, so it doesn't really matter, right? On the physical one, having 40% defense would be absolutely insane because it would help shore up the gap between that 80 and 50% mitigation between the physical and AGL variants. But if they gave him something like that at an attack increase, I don't think it has to be a 100% because you do have to remember that his stats are going to jump. They're already really high, almost 16,000 attack, and the SA level will, of course, spike to 15. So I don't think he needs anything high. 50% attack, 40% defense. You maintain a very balanced unit that has counters, that has absurdly high mitigation. It probably jumps to like 85 or something, if they even want to touch it, right? 80 is one of the highest mitigations in the game anyway. And then, of course, still raises here. Like, he's good. He's perfectly fine. And he's still quite balanced and would be amazingly good. And he's still good, but, again, the output is leaving to be desired. So we come here and we take a look at Super 17. Super 17 is interesting because he's a character that's a little better now than he was upon release. He introduced the mechanic where with each attack received, your attack goes up. And also, they also instated a specific update that allowed stacks to maintain through phases. So you remember all those stacking units that raise attack and defense? Back in this time, 2017, prior to this card's release, each time you beat the enemy, and like if you were playing like transforming Goku and you beat his base form and then he went Super Saiyan, your stacks that you accumulated would reset. And then you went Super Saiyan 2, they would reset again and again and again. Now they sustain to the entirety of the fight until you beat that boss, and then you move on to the next boss, or whatever the case is if you're playing like Boss Rush. So damage received minus 40% is solid, but the issue with this is mitigation at a low clip. I'd say 50% or below. And this applies to that physical Vegito we were looking at too. On harder content, like the physical Vegito takes like 30k on normal attacks versus Super Battle Road, for example. On harder content specifically, mitigation 50% or below just isn't good if you don't have defense. So my main thing is give him defense to help shore up some of that deficiency, and he's fine. I would say increase his attack up to 150, and then he's good. And the greatly lowering defense is actually amazing versus a new Goku event. So it's really easy to fix this card. He just needs a little bit of work, right? So that's what I would say. Again, mitigation at 40% is solid, but you need defense or defensive support. He's lucky he has like Android Assault, and he has access to a very good defensive support in the Android 17 physical type. So like we come here, he also has this link, and then he also is able to oh wait, never mind. No, yeah, he does. I was gonna say like super allies only. All allies 3 key 60%. Like he's lucky he has access to that because he would be a lot worse if he didn't, right? The Super 17. Goku Black, this one's actually kind of interesting because I don't know what they'll do with this card because STR exists, and STR is like almost the epitome of what a unit can be. Like if we look at STR Rose really quick, he is almost like the most balanced / perfect unit in the game. Why? Because he does a ton of different things, and well, I actually need to bring you back. He does a ton of things. So like at this time, all they did was just take the old card and then like as like a baseline and then improve it, right? So the attack goes up from 100 to 120, still keep the extreme class allies 3 key bonus, but he also offers 50% defense, which is good for him, and characters like who also have trash defense because mitigation is good but no defense. Looking at you, New Zamasu, right? On harder content, the New Zamasu takes a ton of damage, especially if you keep transforming. Bonus defense is amazing, right? Super class allies or enemies, debuff 20%. Perfect. That in conjunction with that, like, amazing. Extreme class allies also get a SA increase, 30% for one turn. A phenomenal link set. Like this is almost the epitome of what a unit can be. Like this is perfect. So I don't know what they'll do with this card at all. Let me know what you guys think. But I don't see him being better than this. This is too good already. Maybe he gets an attack increase for allies. Oh my gosh, that should be like 100% or 120 attack. Extreme class allies get 3 key and 30% attack and/or defense. Oh my goodness, if he turns into a support unit like that, that's busted. He doesn't even need the enemy debuff. He's fine. He also greatly lowers defense instead of the attack raise that the new one has, which is good now on newer content. I don't care about the sacrificial HP. It's good for characters that need to be low on HP, which means on this card, I'd say 10 turns is fine. I think 10 turns is always good. I don't think that's bad. You can get rid of it entirely, but that gets away from the theme of what this form is, so I'd say keep it. Attack and defense, I'd say 50 and 30. And then the less HP remaining, he gets an attack or defense increase up to a percentage, like maybe another 50 or 100%. I'd say it would be a good work for him, which also adds increased value to the debuff here. So, like, I think that's perfect. You have to, again, those numbers are just very, very raw. Like, that stuff in conjunction with SA level 15, the increased stats and all that stuff, might be too much. But I think that's a very quick explainer for how they can fix this card. Like, I don't think they need to change it too much, but I think they should play into what he is. Now, if the new Zamasu is any sort of indicator, they're not getting rid of this attack down for superclass allies, I would say. But again, another card that does a ton of damage but gets hit so hard because of the meta back in 2016-17. He just needs defense. Very easy. And then, hold on. Let me come back to him. This guy, he could low-key be, depending on how his EZA is handled, give him defense and a little more attack on orbs. They can be like 15% attack. I think we did a what-if for him, too. Anyways, I'll leave them down below. 15% attack, 8% defense, and like, you can change the healing to a percentage base, and he's basically one of the best characters in the game. Especially if you give him general orb producing, like if he can produce his own orbs, oh my gosh, that's easy. That's easy. This is just stupid. This is just stupid. This is just absolutely stupid. This is a really good offensive unit because 100% increase is awesome. And then also getting 12% more attack per orb obtained is awesome, but minus defense is stupid. He doesn't even get a defense increase at the start of the third. This is dumb. He's like the only unit that you'll see that goes down to literally 0 defense. Please work this card differently. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch all of you in the next one.